Oh, hello, this is Tak Chung from Walk with Tak. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share. Feel free to write me at walkwithtak@gmail.com if you have any question regarding these videos or any other videos that I have posted in the past. If you would like me to make a certain type of video, please let me know. I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Without any question, one of my favorite fruits in the summertime is garden tomatoes, because you cannot have tomatoes any better than the potatoes that are coming out from garden during the summertime. They by far the best tomatoes that you can ever have. They are superior than any tomatoes that you can get from the supermarket. And there's one dish, the freshness of tomatoes make a huge difference. That is a scramelette with tomatoes or eggs and tomato. Now you all know scramelette is a dish that is a combination between scrambled eggs and an egg omelette. And the tomato go extremely well in this dish. In order to make this dish perfectly, the ripeness of the tomato is absolutely essential. You want a tomato that is perfectly ripe. And there's no better tomatoes than you can pick it out from the garden when the tomatoes is ripened on the vine. And when the tomatoes is perfectly ripened, this dish is rated by many as one of their favorite dishes. This dish took me only about 12 minutes to make. It is including the time that I have walked to the garden and pick up the perfect tomatoes off the vine. I make this dish for a potluck lunch that I was going to attend this morning. So I make a relatively large dish. I use 12 eggs and I use about 1.5 pretty good sized tomatoes. The size of the tomato wedges is actually quite important. You don't want it to be too large. In that case, it will be difficult to eat. If it is too small, it will disintegrate and lose its distinctiveness. The selection of the tomatoes to cook this dish is essential. You want to find the tomatoes that is perfectly ripened. You want to select a tomato that is soft and juicy because the tomato juice will infiltrate into the egg and create exceptional flavor and texture. Consequently, the timing when you add the tomato to the wok is essential, and how long you cook the tomato will determine the outcome of the dish. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to use my Cucina 14-inch stainless steel wok to cook this dish. I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of canola oil. Of course, you can use any oil that you would like. To cook this dish, the wok has to be well seasoned to create a non-stick cook surface. I use my spot seasoning method, and the method is very simple. I'm going to heat up the wok until the oil starts to smoke gently, and then I turn off the heat or just turn it down to maintain that temperature. I will let the temperature stay that way for about 15 seconds, and then I will start to cook. This method works extremely well with my stainless steel wok, but it will work with any other wok that you will have, such as carbon steel or a cast iron wok. I then add the eggs to the wok. Now, I did not season the egg in advance. The reason is simple, because if the tomato is fresh, the flavor of the tomato will enhance the flavor of the egg. If you add any salt or any seasoning, actually it will distract the natural flavor of the tomatoes. As I have mentioned earlier, this dish is known as a scramelette because it is a combination of scrambled egg and an egg omelette. With this method, I use the wok spatula to push the cooked egg gently away from the bottom surface of the wok so that the uncooked egg will fill that space. Using this method, I can leave the burner setting at high because I constantly push the cooked egg away from the bottom surface of the wok so that the uncooked egg will fill that space. Using this method, I can greatly accelerate the speed in cooking the eggs. Using this method, it is critical for the wok to be well seasoned to have a non-stick cook surface. Otherwise, the egg will stick and burn to the bottom surface of the wok, and in this case, it will not work. In this demonstration, the egg did not stick to the wok at all. And next, I add the tomatoes to the egg. You want the eggs about 50% done. The timing when to add the egg to the tomato is critical because you do not want to add the tomato too soon because that will overcook the tomatoes. But if you add the tomato too late, then you will overcook the egg. So matching that timing is absolutely essential. So what you want is that the flavor of this dish, that with the egg that are relatively soft, whereas the tomatoes remain distinct. So when you eat it, you can distinctly taste the difference between the egg and the tomatoes, and this is what will give you an exceptional culinary experience. And this is also the reason why the ripeness of the tomato is essential, because only when the tomato is perfectly ripe, you can get that texture and you can have that distinctiveness between the egg and the tomatoes. As well, when the tomatoes is ripe, the juice of the tomato will infiltrate through the egg and give the egg a absolutely wonderful flavor. Now, as you can see here, the dish is very fast to cook. In fact, it takes less than 4 minutes. And to cook this dish properly, it's truly due to a mastery of the stir-frying technique, to understand how long to cook any particular ingredients and how to integrate it with another ingredients. And next, I'm going to garnish the dish first with oyster sauce. I'm going to put oyster sauce over it, and it's all depends on how much oysters you would like based on your own flavor preference. Sometimes oyster sauce is all you need, but quite often if you like the dish a little bit saltier, then you can add some soy sauce as well. Again, you can decide how much you want to add. And there are many other options to season the dish, and if you like to have a low salt dish, you can season it with the wok with tak basic seasoning mix. And the natural flavor of the egg create an excellent contrast with the tomatoes, the oyster sauce, and soy sauce. At the final step, to further enhance the flavor of this dish, I add some scallions. And this introduces another flavor to the dish. Scallion has a very distinct flavor in comparison to the egg, the oyster sauce, hoisin sauce, and the soy sauce. And with the tomatoes, it gives a sense of freshness to the dish. This dish provides an excellent example of the flexibility, adaptability, as well as creativity of the stir-frying technique. The stir-frying technique can be used under different situations in create various types of flavor for the dish. And by changing the technique slightly, you can greatly affect the outcome of the dish. Therefore, to really gain mastery of stir-frying, practice is essential. When you gain more experience, you will know when to add certain ingredients, what is the best way to stir the content, and how to control the heat. This is absolutely a wonderful dish, and I urge you to give it a try, particularly if you have fresh garden tomatoes. I post a video each day to help you to make home cooking as part of your daily routine using my fast cooking system. And this will make your home cooking practical, efficient, creative, and fun. If you'd like to learn more about my fast cooking system, please subscribe to this YouTube channel. So keep on cooking. I will see you tomorrow.